Hey, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co, and this is To Back or Not to Back, where we go over a variety of crowdfunding campaigns, the games, the campaigns, the pledge levels, stretch goals, all of that and more. And yes, it is late today. But with that said, let's go ahead and start off. We have to make up for lost time after all. We are going to start off as we usually do with our Cult of the Now. Our Cult of the Now is El Grande, the Hans in Gluck. Oh, I don't like shouting out Hans in Gluck anymore. That was a mistake on my part. I mean, Lucky Duck distributes, so I can say Lucky Duck. Oh, and if in case you're wondering why I don't like, okay, so this is not planned for the video, but I just kind of looked at the photo and realized it's Hans and Gluck. But basically, Hans and Gluck sued another company over the use of the word meeple. Ever since then, I have no real interest in promoting them, working with them, any kind of situation around that, because it kind of felt like a I don't want to use swear words. I'm gonna use minus swear words. It felt like a dick move. It felt like a dick move to what they did to a small company over the use of a very common word that I do not believe that they did not come up with themselves. They simply took it over. They took control over the word meeple. There's a video by Pam Wall's Game Design. I'll link to it down below. It does a full deep dive into it. This wasn't the plan. This was not actually meant to be a let me attack Hans and Gluck over here. But then I realized I'm recommending a game they distribute, and I really feel like what they did wasn't cool. So, El Grande is awesome. Choose to do what you want to do. Weird pivot to the start of the video, but with that, that's our deal of the, not deal of the day. That's our Cult of the Now, where we can take a look at currently available games. El Grande is awesome. I cannot recommend it enough. One of my favorite games. If you have 5 players, it's one of the best games you can sit down and table. It is such a good time. Try to buy a used copy or something like that. Anyways, with that, let's go ahead and start off with Paw by Paw. We're going to go ahead and dive directly into the campaigns. We're starting with Paw by Paw from Teetotum Game Studios. 4 days left in the campaign, 159 backers, £2,000 raised. This is basically a print and play game from Teetotum Game Studios where you're going to be rolling 3 dice. 1 dice will decide how your dog moves around. 1 dice is going to be specific to the unique board you're playing as. There's going to be 4 different boards over here. The Street Food Festival, the Swan Lake, the Rain Walk, and then the Catch the Thief over here. And then the last die is going to be used, the second dice is going to be used to sniff around the park. Each park is a different challenge. And the third dice is used for various interactions. For example, peeing in bushes or meeting other animals or things like that. It's just the various interaction points. So moving, interactions, and then the unique challenge of the board that you are playing as. It's a print-to-play game, pretty straightforward. We've covered a lot of these in the past. We have £9 for the 3-map combo, and then £4 for the Street Food Festival map if you want that additional map on top, or just on its own, I guess. You can get it on its own too. Anyways, that's basically what we got over here. This is print and play. You will not be getting a physical product. You will instead be just getting a downloadable game, a downloadable file. But the plus side is that means no tariffs. So if you were worried about tariffs, no tariffs on this particular game. As usual, by the way, we will be going over how each campaign is covering tariffs or handling tariffs, because they're not always covering tariffs. In fact, most campaigns are doing the same thing as we talked about last week, where most campaigns are effectively saying, hey, we're taking a wait-and-see approach, but we are going to have to pass some of those costs on to you, or all of those costs on to you. We will go over case by case. Not all campaigns are doing that, but that's the general modus operandi these days. Then we have Sword Art Online. Well, actually, you have a few campaigns that are not producing in China and therefore have lower tariffs, but still tariffs. Anyway, Sword Art Online, powered by Japan Tactics. This is a head-to-head game where you go ahead and assemble your crew and then attack each other. That's the basic idea over here. From Japan Attackers, 150 backers, $20,000 raised. The base game is going to come with 4 heroes, but then you also have, I think there's 20 total heroes between the expansion content you're going to get, or expansion content you can choose to get, and the promo content you get for back in the game over here. So we have the various characters over here, Asuna, we have Kiroto, each one coming with their acrylic standee base, their action cards, and the stat card. And again, this is going to be a skirmish game. Effectively, you're going to have your map, your board, your terrain set up, and then you're going to go ahead and head-to-head with your various characters. Each expansion is going to add 4 new characters. So there are 3 expansions. Each expansion adds 4 characters, basically quadrupling the content of the base game. I realize I am muted over here. Let me go ahead and mute. Quadrupling the content of the base game. Here's a setup diagram example. And then you also have your 4 characters. Nope, you have the promo cards. Where is it? We have plus set of foiled promo cards for the 4 characters to come in. Nope, not that one. There's a bunch of extra characters over here. There we are. This pledge over here. Yeah, we'll go through it. We'll show you shortly. So we have for $50, we have the standard starter set, which includes 4 foiled promo cards. We have $125 going to give you basically everything for the game, including the 3 expansion packs, which you can get individually. But if you get this pledge, you're also going to get the set of promo characters as well. So again, each expansion pack is 4 characters in the base box, and then 4 more characters over here for a total of 20 characters, plus the foil promo cards you get over here, plus your sleeves. That's all the stuff you get for the $125 pledge. There's also additional expansions. We talked about that already. Then the expansion you could get separately. So you get $50, $12. Each expansion is available for $25 each. If you want to just get like the base game and one expansion pack, you have that option as well. And then shipping. Shipping is going to run you, it depends on which pledge level you get, but you're basically looking in the USA between $15 to $18 roughly for all of that. As far as tariffs, let's go ahead and find tariffs. Tariffs are going to be tariffs are currently 145%, but basically they say that we have secured board game manufacturing in Vietnam, so you will not have to worry about that level of tariffs. There are still tariffs in general across the world, but, and I find a lot of campaigns will say, when a lot of campaigns say we're producing elsewhere, they often don't say, not always, but they often don't say what they are or are not doing about the tariffs that still exist even elsewhere. So sometimes they might get sucked up, sometimes they might get hit with a charge. I don't know if the campaign doesn't tell me what they're doing. I can only say back with the knowledge that you might get that 10% charge. And to be clear, 10% is not the price of your pledge. 10% is the price of manufacturing. How the company chooses to pass it on to you is a different conversation. Then we have Night Soil, 455 backers, 14 days to go, $20,000 raised in this game about shoveling poop. That's what the game is. Night Soil is a game about who can most efficiently shovel poop while gaining favor with the various factions of the city. The basic idea is, the basic idea is what I said. You're going to be shoveling poop around the board, trying to eventually offload it into the water, unfortunately enough, while trying to gain influence with the various factions through having completely clean areas on the board as you play. So, poop shoveling, action economy. Play your cards, use your actions, get stronger and more powerful across the rounds of play, and shovel poop better than the other players. That's the game. That really is the game. There's not much else to. It's shoveling poop. Shoveling poop, the board game. Not the first board game we've had about poop, mind you, but certainly the most recent, I guess. Anyways, Dirty Work over here. That's the pledge over here. Dirty Work for $36, and then we have the Pick It Up Yourself for $36 as well. There's no additional pledges. There's just that one pledge option for $36 for the game. Just different configurations or group pledges or things like that. But that's basically what we got. It's from Grail Games. You shovel poop around, and then you try to be better at shoveling poop than the other players. Not a ton more to go into. Stretch goals, we cover the stretch goals. Player areas enlarged. Player pieces get green print designs. Solo cards, just a variety of pledge levels over here, that the stretch goals that they've unlocked already. And then shipping. Shipping is going to run you 18 or roughly $11 US to the USA, although obviously check which region you're in because the whole different options over here, but roughly $11 on that $36 price point, bringing you to a $47-ish a game. Although as far as tariffs go, tariffs basically, as the tariff situation is in flux, we will not charge customers their tariff fee now. Tariff fees will be collected on our post-campaign pledge manager. We'll do our best for our backers and we'll share the cost of this extra fee. So basically, if there's still tariffs, some of this will be absorbed, some of it will be passed on to you, back accordingly. From there, we go ahead and go to Goat Simulator. $57,000 raised, 1,000 backers, 15 days to go. I went from not interested at all in this game to seeing the game art and being more interested, to then seeing the mechanics and not quite being as sold whether I'm interested or not. Maybe it will be great, I don't know. But don't get me wrong, I mean, a game like Goat Simulator generally would be targeting mass market audiences to begin with, although it is coming to you from Mood Publishing, who've done Deep Rock Galactic and Valheim and all those big gigantic games, so they're definitely pulling in those video game IPs, just some are going to be more mass market targeted, some are going to be more gamer targeted. To that end, Goat Simulator, the card game, is basically a game of Goat Simulator. You're going to be playing various accessory cards onto your goats, each of them giving you various abilities, one-time use, ongoing, things like that, and then you're going to be flipping your goat. Yes, there's an actual goat, there's a little goat plushie here, yes, there's a larger goat plushie you can buy, but the game by itself comes with a small goat plushie that you're going to flip, because if you flip it right, you get extra bonuses out of that. So there's definitely a dexterity element being baked into this game, which makes sense considering the entire game is all about shooting goats. So that's the basic idea. Ascend to Goatness, a dead serious game where the goats are the only thing that matters. Gear up your goats, sabotage your friends, and unleash chaos so marvelous it'll make even the most stoic goat bleat. Who needs friends when you have goats? I don't have goats. That's why I need friends. So please apply to alex@boardgameco.com. I am looking for, I think, 3 more currently to fill my quota. Friends, not goats. I don't need more goats. That's why I don't have friends in the first place. Anyways, that's basically the idea over here. That's what we got as far as the pledge levels. So we have the basic idea for the basic pledge level is going to be retail edition for $23. Then we have the exclusive box edition for $34, and the exclusive box plus add-ons, that's where you get that giant goat plushie, for $57 for the game. That's the basic idea. yeah, not a ton more to go through over here. I mean, there's still a campaign page to scroll through, but basically it's GOAT. It's a preview video from the Dice Tower if you want to check out that, as far as the general better idea of the actual gameplay. But there's GOATs, there's accessories, there's add-ons, there's that giant, large, throwable Pilgor plushie for €20, or included in that larger pledge. I'm pretty sure it's included in the larger pledge. I'm 99% sure it's in the exclusive box plus add-on. Then we have the Neoprene Flame Mat. We have the it is because that was in the pledge level section. They covered it. Here we go. Exclusive box edition. Yeah, it comes with the large throwable plushie. Anyways, that is all the stuff as far as shipping and tariffs. So shipping is down here. Shipping is going to be roughly flat $8, €8 for the retail edition, up to 10 to 17 for the full all-in to the US. And then as far as tariffs go, they had a note. Where was the note? There was the note. Where was the note? There was a note. Making games, environmental, long-lasting, something else. No, they had a note on tariffs. We promise. There are things like supply tariffs. Okay, nope. 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 There was a thing. There was a thing on tariffs. I'm pretty sure that you're not paying anything. That's what I'm pretty sure. But give me a second to find it here, because I could have sworn that it was here. Here we go. Nope. 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 We guarantee no surprise tariff surcharges will be added to your final cost. There you go. I just have to find it. I remember seeing it. But we guarantee no surprise tariff surcharges will be added to your final cost. That's pretty straightforward as far as, hey, we are absorbing any tariffs if they should show up. I'm sure they're still hoping they don't show up, but that is basically Goat Simulator. Then we have Zeo Genesis, scalable skirmish game by Best Hobby. $137,000 raised, 600 backers, 15 days left to go. This is a miniature skirmish game with, I think, 4 factions, if I'm not mistaken, or was it only 2 factions? I don't fully recall. But basically, Zeo Genesis is going to be a miniature skirmish game where you can get either the rulebook itself, so you can get the STL miniatures, you can get the full printed miniatures, but scalable skirmish. Play from 1 to 4 Zeo units per side, alternating activations, dynamic tactics, injection molded, hard plastic, STL options available. As far as the pledge levels, and this is more of a miniatures game than a board game, but obviously the overlap in those general genres. Shipping is going to run you, again, depends on the pledge level you're getting, between $6 to $30 for the US over here. That's because the smallest pledges are just the digital, the book only with digital pledges, and then from additional we have core game and all-in physical and all of that. We have the physical over here. This is not the all-in physical for $150 for the core 2-player starter set. We have $40 for the core rulebook alone. Then we have the physical rulebook plus 1 STL Zeo unit for $65, and then $90, and then $140 for 1, 2, or 4 altogether there. And then we have the core game plus 2 Zeo unit expansions for $270, and then for all 4 expansions for $375. That's basically what we got over here. A few stretch goals going on as well, and then individual items you can purchase as far as the individual add-ons. As far as shipping we already covered, but risks and challenges, tariffs. Where are tariffs? So tariffs over here, apologies on the wall of text. We are US based, our own manufacturing plastics, and generally experienced in making games. We're sourcing components for North America, Europe, and possibly South America. They'll be assembled in the US. So basically, tariffs should be significantly cheaper if non-existent. Well, not necessarily non-existent, but assuming they stayed the same, tariffs would be significantly cheaper. Moving on over here, we have Flamecraft Duals. 10,000 backers so far, $607,000 raised, 15 days to go. Flamecraft Duals is a 2-player abstract strategy game set in the Flamecraft universe. This is very much set in the Flamecraft universe. It's not trying to mimic the gameplay of Flamecraft, it's mimicking the universe of Flamecraft with a 2-player or solo abstract strategy game. The basic idea is you're going to have these various chips you're drawing from the bag and placing them down onto the grid in an effort to fulfill these various pattern cards. So you might want a pattern of red, red, blue, or yellow, yellow, green, or 3 greens in a triangle. Different kinds of situations like that where you want different combinations of patterns you're trying to achieve, and you're going to be drawing tokens in the bag that also have abilities on them. You want to combine your abilities, the board state, and then try to puzzle out how you can achieve as many of your cards as possible faster than your opponents are able to do so. It's fast-paced, draw a dragon, fire it up, and then fulfill any goals, rinse and repeat, although there are some expansions in the game as well. You can check out my review of the game if you want to see my full thoughts on it, but that's basically what Flamecraft Duals is. Although, there's also expansions to Flamecraft. In addition to the Duals game, there's expansions for Flamecraft if you are a fan of that, if you have that, or if you want to get that. We have Dragons and Dragons. There's a whole bunch of different expansions from the 15 Hydra Dragons over here, the double color dragons. We have the Parks and Crafts Neoprene Mat, where dragons can fire over there. We have the new shop. We have a new way to enchant. 6 Companion Dragons. That's going to be more dragons over there. 7 Adventure Dragons. It can be added to your dragon deck. And that's basically what we got for a whole bunch of expansions to Flamecraft, basically Flamecraft. The pledges are going to run you a few options. You have the basic $30 Flamecraft Duals Deluxe Edition over here. We have $20 for the Dragons and Dragons. We have the gameplay bundle for $50 if you want both of those, and then the Horde, which is giving you all of those, as well as the art book, the 2 new plushies, as well as all the promos of the past. Speaking of which, the gameplay bundle also comes with the promos of the past. That's basically an assemble of all the various promos they've done so far in one just easy to get option. That's going to be available in either of the 2 higher levels or for an add-on fee if you want to get one of the small levels over here for $5. It's cheap. It's $5. Not that crazy over there. That's basically what we got for the Flamecraft for the stuff over here. We also have the individual Plant Dragon plushie for $25, the Iron Dragon plushie for $25. He does have a surprise in his backpack if you want that. The backpack is not empty. What comes in it? I don't know. The contents are a surprise until the Iron Dragon travels back home to you. So maybe it's gold. It's probably gold. Then we have the Art of Flamecraft for $30, and that's basically what we got over here. You can also play it online. It's available on Tabletop Simulator, and let's jump to shipping. Shipping over here. Shipping's going to run you between $12 to $17, depending on, again, the Dragons and Dragons for $12, Duels for $13, the Bundle for $14, and the Horde for $17 to the USA. And then as far as tariffs, where are the tariffs? Tariffs over here. USA tariffs are in a state of flux. Carbon Alchemy is committed to splitting these costs with our US backers. So they basically say, hey, hopefully they're not here. If they are here, we will split those costs with you. The exact amount will be in the Pledge Manager, and you'll have the opportunity to get a full refund minus platform costs in case you don't want to pay whatever that number is. And that is Flamecraft Duals. Great game, by the way. Check out my review. I thought it was very, very just fun to play. It's a fun to play game. Then we have Trash Rush. Trash Rush from Tableau Games, 652 backers, $45,000 raised, 15 days to go. Trash Rush is a game of action programming and cleaning the streets of trash. Yes, in today's video, we do have people cleaning poop off the street and people cleaning trash off the streets. Just basically 2 different versions of collecting the various refuse that you don't want around your nice little cities, just different points in time and therefore different jobs. But I do find that funny that we have both those in the same video. But Trash Rush, you're basically going to be wandering around the city, action programming. So you are programming your cards over here, trying to plan out how things will go, and then paying various fees for going the wrong way down one-way streets, and basically trying to be the best person at collecting various trash. Definitely seems to be leaning a little bit more into that gateway, maybe gateway plus genre, but looks the art looks good, the components look good, the general action programming is always a fun mechanic. That's not entirely true. Action programming is usually a fun mechanic, and that's basically what we got from Trash Rush from Tabula Games, although a whole bunch of expansion and deluxifications available as well. To that end, let's go to the pledge levels. We have the Trash Rush pledge for €30 over here. That gives you the Trash Rush plus the Rogue Rubbish boss expansion. Yes, there are bosses in the world of Trash Refuse. That was assumed, honestly. We have Wooden Glory pledge for €52. That gives you the Trash Rush plus the bosses, as well as the Wooden Upgrade Kit, and I'll show you what those looks like soon, as well as the co-op expansion and additional tech tiles over here. And then for €62, you get all those things I just said, as well as the metal coins, the solo quests, and the stripy skills over here, additional raccoons for the game. That's going to be a whole bunch of stuff you get for €62. As far as showing you the various components, all the components, again, I said it looks good. It does look good. Like, these are just like, this is the stuff you see over here. It looks cool. The art looks good. It looks very friendly, but also nice. I don't know, good. Anyways, we have all these wooden tokens. So this is going to be the wooden upgrade pack, upgrading these tokens to wooden chonky bits. I do love my wooden chonky bits. They make the game so much nicer to play, but that is one of the nice things about crowdfunding. You get all these extras, although you have to pay and wait, and there are downsides, but you do get nicer premium games when you do find a game that you love. Then we have the co-op mode, where you can go ahead and combine to like work together and clean up the city. We have Rogue Rubbish, all the various expansions. I'm not going to go through every single thing over there. We have the metal coins over here in that higher pledge level for €62 over there, and that brings us down to shipping over here. Shipping is going to run you, depending on where you are. In the US, you are looking at 20 to 26 plus 2 for the all-in pledge over there. That's going to be adding a decent amount to your pledge. So suddenly you went from a €62 game to closer to a €100 game if you are interested in getting well, all of this stuff over here. So you do have to factor that in. It is cheaper in various regions. US is on the slightly higher side, not the highest, but slightly higher as far as that goes. As far as risk, rewards, tariffs, all those things. Where are tariffs? I always have to find where they are, because I do check it all before I go, but then I have to find them. Here we go, tariffs. Okay, no, tariffs. However, due to the current uncertainty surrounding potential US tariffs, there's no way to fully predict what the situation will be. In past campaigns, we've consistently handled import duties ourselves, and we'll continue evaluating each project carefully to maintain that standard whenever we can. Which sounds like a fancy way of saying, we will try to cover it, we make no guarantees, which again makes sense to me. It just makes sense to me. Keep in mind, when tariffs go from, nothing to 20 to 50, were they ever 20? I don't think they were ever 20. Oh, there was sort of that 20 phase, then to 54, then to 145. As much as it's like, well, of course they're not going to go to 500. there's no guarantee. That's one thing that's always worth mentioning. A company should be very wary of saying, we will. Like when Goat Simulator says, we will cover all the costs ourselves, that's a very absolutist statement that doesn't take into account that while I don't think they're going to hit 500, I wouldn't have thought they'd hit 145 either. So there is that complete uncertainty as to how crazy can things ever get at any point, especially if no one really backs down and people are like, well, now it's 400, now it's 700, now it's just a complete block. So yeah, I get it when companies say we will try and don't give guarantees. Lifeboats, 561 backers, $21,000 raised, 17 days to go. Lifeboats is a plank of Kanya. It's limited edition, 3 to 7 players. This is a pure negotiation game. This is a a re-brought back version of the original game, which has had several printings by now, but it's been out of print for a while, and you can now go ahead and get this negotiation game. By the way, I will say, solid video, did a good job explaining the game if you haven't seen that. Speaking of which, today was actually a pretty good day for videos. Goats Limited version was very charming. Flamecraft Duals was great. Trash Wars was great. Lifeboats was great. Although the possibly one of the best videos I've ever seen in crowdfunding is going to be later in this session. I say possibly because, like, right now, I'm like, it's the best one I've seen, but I've seen some really good ones over the years. Just this is the most recent best one I've seen. Anyways, Lifeboats is a pure negotiation game. You're going to be negotiating over basically everything, because you're going to be deciding which boats being leaks, which boats advance forward, who gets kicked out of various boats, which boat advances, I said that already. And you're basically trying to figure out, you have these, like, 3 lanes or 4 lanes, I can't recall, where you have these boats that are going to have passengers in them, and you're going to be trying to move the boats to the end to get your people off. But every round, players are voting on which things are happening, which means there's a lot of table talk as far as you vote for me here, I'll vote for you there, or maybe just no table talk if you want to go with absolute chaos and just hoping for the best. But it's purely up to the players what's going to happen, and how you play that game, how you choose to engage with that, that's going to be up to you and your group. But it's basically a game where you may make friends, you may lose friends, hopefully you'll have a good time. It's been around for a while for a reason, because it's one of those quick, clean games. If you play games like Zaibatsu or Chinatown, it's leaning into that style and genre of play. That's basically as far as the game itself is going to be straightforward. You have a $30 pledge for the standard version, and then the deluxe edition of the game, which comes with limited edition of the game as well as the stretch goals and things, for $35. An extra $5 for the deluxe slipcover and extra things over there. As far as shipping is in this chart over here, lower 48, it's going to be $12 to ship that, so your $35 game goes to $47. And then as far as tariffs, risks and challenges, are they in here? No, they're not. Where is the tariffs? Accessibility, where was it? I need to remember where these all are before I jump into it, but it's hard. Tariffs are up at the top. That's what it was. Tariffs. Okay, so basically what's going to be happening is, where is it? We are financially stable as a company. Expect tariffs will be gone or significantly reduced. That's right, they're absorbing it. So they're absorbing it overall. They're going to be paying any tariffs out of our pocket, and if the tariffs go away, they'll make more on it. But the one thing they did talk about is how if the tariffs are in place, the MSRP will almost certainly go up on the game. I mean, it makes sense that it'll go up. So right now, it's kind of like, hey, we'll absorb the tariffs, but still hopefully back, because if the tariffs aren't absorbed, it's going to be more expensive later. And then we have Nippon. Nippon coming to you from Crowd D Games. This is the 10-year anniversary edition of the game, and it does look beautiful. This is another solid video, by the way. Check out this video if you want to be far more tempted in the game than you were before. 2,200 backers, 2,300 backers at this point, $191,000 raised, 7 days to go. This basically mid to heavyweight Euro game that is getting a streamlined edition. So in addition to the deluxe edition, the deluxe aspect to it, in addition to all the extra components, and there are several pledge levels we'll go through, they also did make some changes to the games that keep the same feel of the game, but streamline it to a various degree. So this is a cleaned up, a re-implemented version, not just a deluxeification. It's more than a reprint, as they cover over here. As far as the pledge levels, there's a lot of components. Again, I do highly recommend you watch their campaign video. I think they did a great job making you very interested in the game, both mechanically as well as the components they show. But the basic edition of the game, which is still a deluxe upgrade of the game, is going to be $60. This does not include additional deluxe components and does not include the free metal coins. Versus the $80 edition of the game has a gold foil box, free metal coins, all that stuff. There's a reason there's 43 backers over here and 1,944 backers over here, because if you saw those components, that additional $20, like, to me, you're either not backing this game or you're getting the deluxe edition of the game. Anything else kind of, if you're back in the game, you're getting the deluxe edition of the game, except for these 43 people. But I wonder if they've even fully watched the video. It feels like you get so much more out of it. You get all these cool metal coins, you get all these chunky components. It just looks overall significantly better. But again, highly recommend watching the video. I think they'll do a good job showing you a ton of what you're getting. I don't think, honestly, they did a decent job with the campaign page, a good job I'd even say, but they did a fantastic job with the video. So if you want to get a good sense of just how much bling you are getting in this 10-year deluxeified reprint and reimagined edition again, cleaned up edition as well. Check that out. And you can get 2 Empress pledges for $152 if you want that. As far as shipping is going to run you between 19 to 28, depending on what you're getting, but 19 to 20 unless you're getting 2 copies of the game. And then as far as tariffs, by the way, publishers, thank you whenever you put it in like a full-on tag there, because otherwise I jump to risks and try to remember where it is. But tariffs, basically they say, hey, right now, if there are tariffs, 2 things are going to happen. The first is that we basically can't sell the game to the US if tariffs stay in place. The margins just aren't there. So back this game now, because if the tariffs stick around, you can't really get it in the US easily otherwise. And not really a guarantee they won't do it, but they kind of say, hey, it's much less likely that we'll be able to do it in the US if tariffs stay in place at their current level. The good news is most people do feel that tariffs are probably going away. The big question is when, and no one actually knows for sure. We're all just playing a wait and hope game. But outside of that, they basically say, additionally, if the tariffs don't go away, you will have to cover some of that. So they basically say, hey, some of that cost will be passed on to you. I believe they said roughly 5% of the pledge level, if I recall correctly. Yeah, 5% of the pledge level is a rough estimate of how much you'll have to pay extra as tariffs, plus the fact that you won't be able to get it in the US if tariffs stay in place. From there, we have Muster, Raise the Banners, Play Monkey Games. This one, another solid video. Check out the video. Basically, it's a 2-player lane battling game where you're going to have this gorgeous art cards that are, well, not gorgeous. They're very cute. It kind of reminds me of YRO, if you've seen that. A little different, but definitely has that slightly chibi, slightly cartoon style going on in a lane battle, a 2-player game. It's pretty straightforward. 180 backers, 4,576 euro raised, pounds raised. 20 days left to go. And as far as rewards, we have £20 for the base game over here, £38 for 2, and then $55 for 3 copies of the game. There is UK Games Expo pickup if you want to get that. So if you are going to UK Games Expo 2025, not 2026, this game is basically available already. You can get it for free over there. So no shipping costs, unless of course you flew there and you have to figure out what that means for you. The point is you can get it at UK Games Expo pretty quickly if you want that. As far as tariffs, they're basically straightforward. Tariffs are, and the shipping over here is going to be £5 to the UK, and then to the US is £13, which does elevate the cost of the game quite a bit, which means I imagine most of the backers are not US based, outside of those going to UKGE with luggage space. And then as far as tariffs, they basically say, hey, tariffs, we can't basically cover tariffs costs. US backers will be subject to any applicable tariffs on EU imports because we can't really cover that anyway. Sorry about that. Which again, hopefully they won't be in place. Although in this case, because this one is fulfilling sooner, this one's a little trickier. This one is much more likely for there to be tariffs. Although the good news is, again, that's on manufacturing costs, and I don't know what costs will be passed on to you. It sounded like it's manufacturing costs, but we shall see. Then we have Pandora's Legacy, an epic jigsaw puzzle adventure from, I'm not entirely sure, it's from Ted Ed and Post Curious. Ted Ed is the one running the campaign, the first campaign, by the way, and Post Curious seems to be the one responsible for creating this. Not entirely sure of that breakdown. But we have 23 days to go, 5,338 backers, $444,000 raised, and it looks fantastic. As someone who's a huge fan of Post Curious's games, this one, well, we'll get to more thoughts and opinions later. This is a puzzle game. This is a puzzle escape room game where basically you're going to be assembling a roughly 1,200 piece puzzle, and that's going to be the start of your adventure. That's the start of your journey into, I believe they said 17 unique puzzles that you'll have to go ahead and solve throughout this. So again, you start off by building a puzzle, and then you have 17 unique escape room style puzzles that you'll have to solve in this Pandora's Legacy game. Another excellent video. Check out the video. Really did a great job in this one. But again, if you're interested in this as a game, definitely check out the campaign video. It'll pull you in, it'll show you what's going on there, but it's basically an escape room combined with a puzzle, which we've seen before. This is just coming to you from Ted Ed and Post Curious with the Pandora's Legacy, Pandora's Box theme. The pledges over here are going to be $99 for the Ultimate Bundle. That gives you the escape room game, as well as 2 separate 1,000-piece puzzles. So you're getting a 1,200-piece puzzle, a 1,000-piece puzzle, and a 1,000-piece puzzle, but only one of those is also an escape room. The other 2 are just puzzles. I like how they put like 20 hours of solving fun for 1 to 4 players. Like that's what's included in this Ultimate Bundle. That's not how these things tend to work. Like, the joy of backing is not a thing you get. 20 hours of solving fun is not a thing you get. You get the Pandora's Legacy core game, and then this is part of that other one. Otherwise, they're double counting this. They're counting Pandora's Legacy core game. This is like the equivalent of you can't have your cake and eat it too. Yes, I am being pedantic. Yes, I'm picking up something small. No, I don't actually care. I just thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. It's just like, I was trying to figure out what was... I pay attention to what's in these pledge levels so I can do these videos, and when I see things like this, I'm always like a little bit thrown as to... Again, doesn't actually matter. I like this campaign. Anyways, we have Just a Peek, $30 for the 2 puzzles over here. The Great Unboxing, $65 for just the actual escape room. And again, it's still a 1,200-piece puzzle. I will say I thought it was interesting because they talk about like these things over here. This kind of gives you a breakdown of the individual components over here, so to speak. The Pandora's Legacy core box includes these things. That makes more sense to me as opposed to like Otherwise, you have over here, Pandora's Legacy core game. This pledge doesn't come with the 1,200 piece puzzle, because this pledge comes with this and that, but this one, I'm being annoying again. Anyways, I'm going to move on. Curiosity Quencher, $85 for the Pandora's Legacy core game, and one additional puzzle of your choosing, which 127 people chose this, which I find fascinating. Again, like, I just find it interesting, the mental mind space that goes into decisions. To me, you're either getting the core game, or you're getting both puzzles. Like, who wants one of the puzzles? Although I guess that makes actually sense if you, because they do show the art of the puzzles, and maybe you don't want the art of both, because maybe you don't like the art of both. We'll show you the art in a second. So I guess that makes sense. 127 people certainly thought it made sense. Hope Eternal, this is also going to include a print, so you're getting an art print as well. Notice this one does not come with 10 to 12 hours or 12 to 15 hours of fun, so if you want to get the 12 to 15 hours of fun, make sure to back another pledge level instead. I am being so annoying over this stupid thing. This is, I can't let it go. I can't let it go. I'm going to move on. I'm going to try to move on. I don't even care. I'm just poking fun at it. Anyways, okay, we have the story over here. The gods granted Pandora her box. You opened it, and a puzzle ensued. Contents over here. We have the individual puzzle you're going to be solving, so to speak, or putting together, and then you're going to have the various escape room ideas that come from there. The bonus 1,000-piece puzzles over here are these two, which to me, I kind of like both of them. Like, neither one are my favorite art ever. Both of them are good vibes. Like, if I like this game, these are both good memories of that experience. But yeah. And one thing I should talk about, because before we get into pledges and pricing and all that, is it is replayable. Not that you would want to replay it. That would be silly. You solved the puzzle. I guess you could remake the 12-inch piece puzzle. If you've ever redone a puzzle, which I have, that's fine. But the solving part, that seems like a silly thing to redo, but it is resettable in the sense that you can buy this, because it's not cheap, let's be honest, $100, even $65 if you just get that. And shipping's relatively affordable at, I believe, $9, I believe it was. But it's $65 plus the $9, it's $74. You can buy that, play it, reset it, and then gift it or sell it. So you do have the opportunity to continue to use it. There are no components that are destroyed. Some components are written on, but you can reprint those components, which also means in theory you can print those components in advance, although that might mess up the puzzle for you. But they give you instructions how to reset it for the next person, friends, family, selling it, whatever it is you want to do. Pricing, we talked about those already. We went through these just on the other area. Do these have the 10-12 hours of fun? Just a peek. I still not. Yeah, these don't break it down. I'm gonna move on. Anyways, as far as shipping is going to run you. Let's go to shipping over here. $9 to the continental US and Canada, and then obviously check out which region you're in. Tariffs you basically are going to have to pay. It basically says, hey, our plan is for shipment, our plan to fulfillment is shipped to warehouse in the UA, Canada, etc. But it means that backers outside the US, okay, sorry, where is it? No, not backers outside the US will not have tariffs, but depending on where you live, your order may be subject to taxes, customs, duties, and tariffs. These are outside of our control and are not included. We'll be collecting these fees in the pledge manager. It also means backers outside the U.S. will not be subject to U.S. tariffs. So basically, they're basically putting a bold thing over U.S. tariffs, because obviously that's the current news at the moment. But that is basically everything you got for Pandora's Legacy. Which means, from there, we move to 2 more campaigns. Super Pixel Tactics, level 99 games, 948 backers, $137,000 raised, 24 days left to go. Super Pixel Tactics is basically a re-implemented version of Pixel Tactics. This one bringing you all the Pixel Tactics content, some of it with art changes, but I believe mechanically all the same, and then basically giving you a new version of the game in a giant epic box, although you still could get, smaller pledge levels as well. Pixel Tactics is a game where you're going to have your leader, you're going to have your heroes, and you can also even have castles. I think it was castles or locations. You can have extra stuff. That is a extra thing. Anyways, we have all this content over here in this level 99 games box over here, giving you all like hundreds of heroes. I don't remember how many there are, but like there's like 150 heroes or something. Maybe it's even more than that. I don't remember the exact amount. They have it somewhere on the page. We'll get to it soon enough. But basically, it's a pretty straightforward game. Like I said, you have your leader, you have your heroes. Your heroes have different ways they can be played. The timing and way you play your heroes is going to be the puzzle of the experience as you go head to head in this game. Although there's also now a new solo mode too. So if you want to play it solo, you have that opportunity as well. We have $150 for the Turbo Champion edition of the game. And if you want Pixel Tactics 1 upgraded to 16-bit, that's going to be $15 for this over here. And then you have Pixel Tactics with playmat for $60, and then Super Pixel Tactics for $100. Meaning this option over here is giving you the playmats as well. So it's not like if you want just the gameplay content for $100, you can get that over here. We also have the bases over here. I believe they said there's included in your pledge. The Pro Pack is free for backers of the campaign and includes 10 base cards. So you could buy this, but it says it's free. I haven't quite figured out that part yet. So just make sure to do your math on that one and double check that. Various promos and expansions and all that stuff, but I want to get to the contents because the contents will show you. Here we go. So here's all the content for the various heroes over here. This is going to be Super Pixel Tactics, 25 new heroes from 6, and then all these heroes over here for a total of 400 cards, but not 400 heroes, but maybe it's 400 heroes. I don't know the amount. Lots of cards, plus 17 dividers for all your bits in this Super Pixel Tactics version. Shipping on the campaign is going to run you $11 to $22, depending on the pledge level in the US. And then as far as tariffs, where are tariffs? Tariffs, risks, and challenges. Tariffs. We're committed to ensuring that you receive your games in a timely manner at the promised price. That's not to say. This threw me off a little bit because it sounds like they're saying at the promised price, no extra tariffs. They're not saying that. They're saying the promised price is what they then say right after that. They say right now tariffs are in flux. We're keeping a careful watch. Some strategies we may employ are holding your games in China until it's resolved, passing through a modest tariff cost, $20 or less, or shipping directly from China if the de minimis rules are reinstated. If you don't know what the de minimis rules are, whole different conversation for a different day. Basically means that you can ship packages that are smaller directly to the US without absorbing costs. Anyways, basically it sounds like that you might be paying up to $20 on your things. They pass them through a modest tariff cost, $20 or less, via the pledge manager. That is what we got over here. And then they also talk about, stable pledges in place, which means you can claim a refund if the price you have to pay is more than 10% or whatever it is. You can claim that refund through a stable pledge as well. That is basically that, which brings us to our last campaign of the day, which is Hollow Pact. 936 backers, 24 days to go, $131,000 raised. This coming to you from Studio Midhall, who did Beast, and now they're backed with Hollow Pact, and the campaign page isn't loading, so I'm going to refresh that in a second, because I got nothing over here. There's the campaign page. Hollow Pact. Hollow Pact is a game where you play as Scoundrels or the Beast in this game. Different player counts as well available, but basically you play as the Scoundrels or the Beast, 1 to 4 players specifically. You play as the Scoundrels or the Beast. The Scoundrels are trying to accomplish their goals, generally trying to involve smuggling cargo out of the city, and the Beast is trying to kill the Scoundrels and or capture cargo. There's a bunch of scenarios. It's a little complicated to explain this game because there's lots of scenario stuff to it, which means individual scenarios will define how you play it. For example, if you watched my review, you know that I really like the framework of this game, but didn't like the main scenario and the way it's kind of structured, and they actually have other scenarios, including a fully cooperative scenario, which I was very excited to see because I really like so much of this game, but the only scenario I got in the prototype kind of took away from my own personal experience based on the way the scoring was. You can check out my review if you want my full thoughts on it. A big fan of Studio Midhall in general, love Beast, really wanted to like Hollow Pact, which is why I'm excited about the additional scenarios. But outside of that, you basically have your Scoundrels, you have your Beast, asymmetric game. The Scoundrels are operating sort of in tandem, although possibly fully in tandem, depending on the scenario you're playing as. And then you're trying to basically smuggle out the cargo while staying ahead of the Beast, making it through the city and managing your escape routes, and just trying to, again, semi-work together, because you need to work a little bit together to be on top of the Beast. Then past that, you have you have a ton of things. You have anything from your spirits or your various cards you're going to be gaining access to with extra abilities. You have unique aspects to the various levels of the city. Each have their own schematic, and that's going to give you a randomness as far as different things, like how do you break through the gates to get from one city to the next, to get from one zone to the next. You're going to have different elements going on, makes the game highly variable from the Scoundrels you choose, from the Beasts you choose, because there are additional beasts as well you can get in the campaign, from the cards you have, from the various schematics you have, from the scenario you're playing as, from the way the map's set up. There's just a ton of content for this game in terms of making it a highly variable experience. As far as pledge levels, let's go ahead and jump down to pledge levels. They have a try before you buy if you want to play it on TTS. It's only the 3-player mode right now, but solo mode coming soon. I don't know if that's doing the campaign or not, but the pledge levels over here, rewards. So rewards, we have a few options over here. We have €69 for the standard box of the game and €85 for the Nightmare box. That's going to be a bigger box that includes more miniatures, a miniature for each Scoundrel, fits the community expansion, stretch goals, all of that, as well as unique cargo miniatures for each Beast in Hollow Pact. So that's the bigger box over there. The standard pledge is €69, exclusive pledge is €85, that's the big box, as well as the Hollow Pact. Spirit shaded miniatures are available, that's the sun dropped effectively, but shaded miniatures are available for €15 in the pledge manager. We have the gameplay pledge for €149 for all of this stuff over here, which gives you the Hollow Pact Nightmare box, the community expansion, digital story, all stretch goals, acrylic tokens, metal stretch tokens, custom sleeves, a Smeria character pack, neoprene mat, Citadel distro pack. That's a whole lot for €149. And then we have for €199, you're getting additionally the art book, the premium insert, as well as the collector's diorama. So they have a diorama as well as an insert and art book, those three things for that additional €50. Add-ons available over here if you want to get the individual add-ons and you make your own pledge effectively. Metal stretch tokens 15, sleeves for 9, a Smeria beast character for 9. Again, all these extra things. That gives you more variety to the beast if you want to play as that, things like that. The Citadel district pack, so more of that. We have art book and the premium insert. Again, this is going to be included at the very deluxe pledge. Actually, if you've seen their inserts from Beast, they are pretty cool overall. And then Collector's Diorama for €29. This is a purely collector's item, not used in gameplay. That's the basic idea as far as the campaign. And then the stretch goals and things like that as well, and more stuff being revealed, which I will be keeping an eye on, because as much as we have this cooperative pact, I'm curious what else will be unlocked throughout the course of the campaign. This certainly looks like another pact, just from the outline over there. That definitely looks like it could be, maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Anyways, as far as shipping over here, shipping is going to run you €22 up to €32 for the US if you want to get depending on which pledge level you get. And then as far as tariffs, I believe in the field of in the US, there's a possibility you have to pay tariffs. Currently it's very volatile. If there are tariffs to pay, you'll have to do so on the pledge manager. We'll keep you updated, etc., etc. If you're not shipping to the US, you're not affected by this. But basically, there will be, if there are tariffs, you will have to pay something. And those are the campaigns for today, which means it is time for our picks of the week. Picks of the week are going to go for our as usual. We have our personal interest pick of the week, and then my value pick of the week. Value pick of the week, I am going to give to Flamecraft Duals. Not 100% sure about this one, but I do think Flamecraft is very popular. The original game did very well. They do have the deluxe edition right now. They said that their deluxe edition you can obviously get in retail if you are a retailer, but it sounds like they do have plans to make a standard version later down the road. So the retail version will come later. There's a bit of a gamble there, but overall, if this is harder to get in retail, I think the popularity of Flamecraft means that this will be a sought-out game. So overall, I think this is the most likely to hold its value from the various games we're covering today. The other one, I was torn on Hollow Pact as well. That's possible, but I'm giving it to Flamecraft Duals, because again, that base game, if you have the original Flamecraft game, that thing sold for bananas on the secondhand market. It was very sought after. As far as my personal interest pick of the week, that easily goes to Pandora's Legacy. I love Post Curious's games. I think that they are the best escape room creator games in the market. I like the theme of Pandora's Box. I like that Greek medieval theme in general. If you watch my Cyclades unboxing, you know that I'm already currently in that era right now. But anyways, this to me, it looks amazing. I like their games a lot. The association with Ted Ed, honestly, is the only thing that has me uncertain. I still think it's amazing. It's just that does that shift how they're making their games, or their target audience, or the target consumer? That has me the only part that's in any way unsure. But easily, this is my personal interest pick of the week, because I just like what Post Curious does. They're an excellent company with excellent production. Really, they're leaning into a specific niche and just doing a great job with it. And that is everything we have, which means our campaigns coming up, we have a few, but as usual, we highlight two of them. We have Shallow Regrets, a pocket-sized game of Deep Regrets. This is coming to you from Buttershy Games. From the people who did Deep Regrets, this is Shallow Regrets, launching tomorrow, I believe. And then we have Sprites and Sprouts from Open Owl Studios, launching tomorrow as well. From Open Owl Studios, who brought you Mythwind. This is in the world of Mythwind, and as well as all their other games. And that is everything. Until next time, I'm Alex Radical from Board Game Co. I hope you appreciate this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one. I bought a week today for only $1. It was a small price to pay.